Indigenous communities have protected nature for thousands of generations. Their deep connection with land inspires sustainable living practices. Modern conservation science increasingly learns from indigenous knowledge systems. These communities understand ecosystems through centuries of lived experience. Their traditions emphasize harmony between humans, animals, and environment. Forest preservation often depends on indigenous stewardship and guardianship. Many endangered species survive within indigenous-managed territories today. Global biodiversity hotspots overlap significantly with indigenous inhabited lands. Traditional ecological practices help restore degraded ecosystems naturally over time. Indigenous fire management reduces catastrophic wildfires in many regions. Their agricultural methods preserve soil fertility without harmful chemical inputs. Sacred lands often function as unofficial protected conservation zones. Oral traditions transmit ecological wisdom across countless generations effectively. Indigenous governance systems regulate resource use sustainably within communities. Their biodiversity practices support resilience against climate change impacts. Many reforestation projects now collaborate closely with Indigenous leaders. Indigenous land rights are crucial for environmental protection globally. Conservation policies succeed more when Indigenous voices are included. Rivers and water sources remain cleaner under Indigenous stewardship. Wildlife populations recover faster in Indigenous-managed conservation areas. Their hunting practices maintain ecological balance within natural systems. Indigenous festivals often celebrate seasonal environmental cycles deeply traditionally. Climate adaptation strategies are strengthened by Indigenous innovations locally. Many ecosystems thrive due to Indigenous conservation leadership efforts. Their spiritual beliefs often reinforce respect for the natural world. Indigenous communities monitor environmental changes through detailed observation systems. Protected forests managed by Indigenous groups show higher biodiversity. Their water conservation techniques prevent drought impacts in drylands. Traditional medicine knowledge relies heavily on plant biodiversity preservation. Indigenous storytelling keeps environmental ethics alive in younger generations. Many conservation scientists collaborate with Indigenous elders for insight. Habitat restoration projects benefit greatly from Indigenous participation efforts. Their land management reduces soil erosion and desertification risks. Indigenous farming preserves seed diversity across multiple generations. Sacred groves act as refuges for endangered species survival. Community-based conservation ensures equitable resource distribution locally and fairly. Indigenous mapping techniques help protect ancestral territories accurately today. Their ecological calendars guide sustainable harvesting practices yearly and timely. Wildlife corridors remain intact under Indigenous land stewardship systems. Indigenous leadership strengthens global environmental justice movements significantly today. Their practices reduce dependence on destructive industrial agriculture methods. Wetland ecosystems thrive under Indigenous sustainable management approaches consistently. Cultural heritage preservation supports environmental conservation simultaneously, effectively today. Indigenous women play vital roles in ecological stewardship globally. Their sustainable fishing methods protect marine ecosystems effectively today. Forest monitoring by Indigenous communities prevents illegal logging activities. Indigenous youth are becoming powerful environmental advocates worldwide today. Their climate resilience strategies inspire global environmental policies today. Biodiversity conservation improves significantly with Indigenous participation efforts included. Indigenous knowledge systems remain essential for planetary survival today. Their conservation ethics prioritize long-term environmental balance carefully. Indigenous community forests act as carbon sinks globally effectively. Ecosystem restoration efforts benefit from Indigenous ecological wisdom greatly. Traditional land guardianship protects biodiversity hotspots efficiently worldwide today. Indigenous mapping and storytelling preserve ecological memory systems effectively. Their adaptive management responds quickly to environmental changes naturally. Indigenous conservation models are now studied globally for sustainability. Community-led environmental action increases ecological resilience significantly today. Their forest stewardship practices inspire modern conservation frameworks globally. Their sustainable grazing methods protect grassland ecosystems effectively today. Their river protection strategies maintain aquatic ecosystem health consistently. Their conservation ethics prioritize long-term balance and stewardship. Indigenous land stewardship continues shaping global conservation strategies today. Their ecological knowledge helps scientists understand complex natural systems. Many protected forests exist because indigenous people defended them. Indigenous territories often contain richest biodiversity on the planet. Sustainable living practices are rooted deeply in indigenous cultures. Their environmental ethics reject exploitation of natural resources. Blindly, climate change solutions increasingly incorporate indigenous wisdom and practices. Indigenous communities maintain balance between human needs and ecosystems. Traditional farming systems support biodiversity and soil regeneration naturally. Their conservation methods rely on observation and seasonal cycles. Indigenous fire practices reduce risk of uncontrolled forest destruction. Many ecosystems recover faster under indigenous management and care. Sacred natural sites act as conservation refuges for wildlife. Indigenous leadership strengthens environmental protection laws in many countries. Their water conservation traditions protect rivers from industrial pollution. Community-based governance ensures sustainable use of natural resources. Indigenous ecological knowledge is passed through storytelling and practice. Their forest monitoring prevents illegal logging and habitat destruction. Biodiversity preservation improves where indigenous rights are legally recognized. Indigenous women contribute significantly to environmental protection and restoration. Their traditional hunting practices maintain ecological balance within regions. Indigenous agricultural diversity protects crops from global climate threats. Ecosystem health improves under indigenous-guided restoration projects worldwide. Their land management reduces deforestation rates significantly in regions. Indigenous philosophies emphasize respect for all living organisms. Equally, conservation partnerships with indigenous groups show higher success rates. Their ecological wisdom helps restore degraded wetlands and forests. Indigenous seed preservation ensures future food security and resilience. Their cultural traditions embed environmental responsibility into daily life. Indigenous mapping systems protect ancestral lands from external exploitation. Wildlife populations thrive in areas under indigenous protection systems. Their sustainable fishing methods prevent overexploitation of marine resources. Indigenous communities act as guardians of fragile ecosystems globally. Their environmental stewardship models inspire international conservation frameworks. Today, indigenous knowledge complements modern science in ecosystem restoration efforts. Forest carbon storage increases under indigenous management practices. Effectively, their land rights recognition leads to stronger conservation outcomes. Indigenous ecological monitoring detects environmental changes at early stages. Their agricultural systems use natural pest control methods efficiently. Indigenous conservation ethics support long-term planetary sustainability goals. Their storytelling preserves ecological wisdom across generations continuously. Many conservation areas overlap with indigenous cultural heritage sites. Indigenous fire management restores natural ecological cycles effectively today. Their environmental activism influences global climate policy discussions. Widely, indigenous forest guardians prevent habitat fragmentation and biodiversity loss. Their ecological calendars guide sustainable resource harvesting practices annually. Indigenous communities adapt quickly to environmental disruptions and changes. Their traditional knowledge improves disaster resilience in vulnerable regions. Conservation success increases when indigenous participation is fully respected. Indigenous land practices reduce greenhouse gas emissions significantly globally. Their environmental stewardship ensures survival of endangered species populations. Indigenous knowledge systems integrate spirituality with ecological responsibility seamlessly. Their sustainable grazing methods preserve grasslands and soil structure. Indigenous communities maintain clean water sources through careful protection. Their ecological restoration efforts revive damaged landscapes. Effectively over time, indigenous governance structures enforce sustainable resource usage within territories. Their biodiversity conservation practices protect rare and endemic species. Indigenous ecological education teaches respect for nature from childhood. Their land conservation efforts mitigate effects of industrial expansion. Indigenous practices help maintain stable climate conditions locally, regionally. Their environmental protection efforts are often community-driven collectively. Indigenous resource management balances human survival with ecosystem health. Their conservation traditions are increasingly recognized by global organizations. Indigenous ecological research contributes valuable insights to modern science. Their forest protection strategies reduce will-I. Indigenous wisdom remains one of Earth's strongest conservation foundations. Their relationship with nature is built on mutual respect. Global ecosystems benefit from indigenous stewardship and traditional knowledge. Conservation experts increasingly acknowledge indigenous methods as highly effective. Many environmental crises worsen where indigenous voices are ignored. Their land management practices sustain ecological balance naturally over time. Indigenous conservation protects forests, rivers, and wildlife simultaneously. Together, climate resilience improves significantly in indigenous governed landscapes worldwide. Their ecological practices are based on long-term thinking. Indigenous communities prioritize environmental harmony over short-term profit. Biodiversity conservation strengthens when indigenous rights are fully respected. Their sustainable lifestyles reduce pressure on fragile ecosystems globally. Indigenous territories often serve as biodiversity reservoirs for species. Their ecological knowledge is deeply rooted in lived experience. Many restoration projects succeed due to indigenous collaboration and guidance. Indigenous guardianship protects ecosystems from industrial exploitation and damage. Their traditional practices maintain soil health and fertility naturally. Indigenous fire management restores balance to fire-dependent ecosystems. Their water stewardship ensures clean and sustainable freshwater systems. Indigenous cultural values promote deep environmental responsibility and awareness. Their conservation systems are adaptive, flexible, and community-driven. Indigenous ecological knowledge supports modern environmental research effectively today. Their land defense efforts prevent irreversible ecological destruction globally. Indigenous communities act as frontline protectors of biodiversity areas. Their agricultural methods preserve genetic diversity across crop species. Indigenous storytelling preserves environmental wisdom across generations continuously today. Their forest management reduces deforestation and habitat loss. Significantly, Indigenous participation improves success of global conservation initiatives greatly. Their ecological ethics connect spirituality with environmental sustainability. Deeply Indigenous knowledge systems help predict environmental changes accurately over time. Their sustainable resource use prevents ecosystem collapse in many regions. Indigenous leadership strengthens environmental justice movements across the world. Their conservation practices support endangered species recovery successfully globally. Indigenous communities restore degraded ecosystems using traditional ecological methods. Their environmental monitoring is precise and locally informed. Always Indigenous stewardship ensures long-term survival of natural habitats. Their ecological traditions are essential for global sustainability goals. Indigenous farming systems protect soil, water, and biodiversity simultaneously. Their conservation frameworks are increasingly integrated into modern policy. Indigenous ecological wisdom guides climate adaptation strategies worldwide. Today, their land protection prevents illegal exploitation of natural resources. Indigenous communities maintain balance between development and conservation carefully. Their sustainable fishing practices protect marine ecosystems from collapse. Indigenous fire knowledge prevents large-scale environmental disasters effectively. Their biodiversity protection supports ecological stability across ecosystems globally. Indigenous ecological education builds environmental awareness in younger generations. Their conservation leadership inspires global environmental movements and initiatives. Indigenous governance ensures responsible and ethical resource management systems. Their environmental stewardship models are studied by scientists globally. Indigenous ecological practices reduce carbon emissions in natural landscapes. Their land rights recognition leads to better environmental outcomes. Indigenous communities preserve sacred natural sites as conservation zones. Their ecological resilience helps communities survive climate extremes. Effectively, Indigenous knowledge bridges gap between science and traditional wisdom. Their environmental protection efforts are vital for planetary health. Indigenous conservation strategies emphasize cooperation between people and nature. Their ecosystem restoration projects revive forests and wildlife habitats. Indigenous communities safeguard water resources from pollution and depletion. Their cultural connection ensures continuous care for environment. Always, Indigenous conservation practices enhance global biodiversity protection efforts today. Their ecological heritage offers solutions to modern environmental challenges. Indigenous stewardship demonstrates sustainable living in practical, real terms. Their environmental contributions are critical for future generations. Survival, Indigenous knowledge systems remain irreplaceable for ecosystem unders.